Hey guys, how's it going? So today we're going to do a little demo on some values, and notice what I did in my sketchbook is I wrote the word value and then lightness and darkness of a color, that's the definition, and then I kind of shaded it in, so I made it look a little pretty. Okay, we're going to need a couple different pencils. You are going to need, your pencil is blue, mine happens to be turquoise, but that's going to be probably like your 4H or 2H. You're going to need your regular Dixon pencil and then your ebony pencil. And finally, you are going to need a blending stick. So you got a bunch of these and I have one here. I thought I brought another one that's just a little bit smaller. I'll be right back because I need that for sure. So you got this full range of blending sticks, which are super cool and great to use. I love them. In your workbook, you also have these value scales that you can learn to, or you can practice on them. And you're gonna go from the very lightest to the darkest. So in your case, it's gonna be the blue pencil. It's gonna be in the lights. Mediums is going to be this one, and the dark is going to be the ebony, because the ebony gets really, really dark. Now, it's not hard to do this or this, you just leave it alone, but it's these little transitional colors that get really difficult. So this page is going to be your practice page. This is the page that you're going to have to turn in. So notice, not only are you creating the scale, you're also going to have to do a sphere. So I will demonstrate these things for you. I'll first start here. The white, I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna go in with my light and notice where I'm holding my pencil. I'm holding my pencil really far back because the further back you hold it, the more gentle your pressure is gonna be when you're applying. And I'm going in a circular motion. And I do want you to fill the entire box. So I've made it very, very light. And I'm gonna go in with my blending stick and I'm gonna blend that. I'm looking at it and right now that looks okay. But I think if I wanna go a little darker, I might have to brighten this up a little. So you can always just go in with your eraser. Also kind of in a circular motion. And then back to your blending stick. And that just kind of lightens it up a little bit. I think that looks a little better. So that's pretty light. You know what? I'm gonna do this one more time and let's see if I can get, I might have to go a little bit lighter on this one here. So again, I'm going in a circular motion. And the reason I'm making you guys do this is this is actually really good practice for applying pressure, because it's these little transitions when you start seeing your lights and your darks. Actually, that looks all right. Looks a little darker on the video, I'm noticing, than it does on my paper. I'm gonna go in with my regular pencil. Now I'm still holding it pretty far back. And this automatically gives you a darker pigment almost. It's not a pigment. The lead is just, or not lead, but the graphite's a little bit darker. So I'm going in, and this looks almost identical. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna just go a little bit darker on here. So I'm seeing that very gradual difference. And some people, I started from the light and I'm gonna go to the darkest. Some people like to start at the dark and go all the way to the light. That's totally fine, totally up to you guys. So again, I went in a circular motion, back to this with a circular motion. Now I'm gonna go even darker. And at the end, I'm gonna clean out my edges and just, because eventually I wanna get to practically black, which is going to be your ebony. And I'm almost at using my ebony, which is very fun. Okay, so I'm going a circular motion. I'm pressing a little harder this time. That looks about right. I'm just going a little bit darker here. All right, now I'm gonna bring my hand down a little. Because now I want to start applying my pressure a little harder. And if you hear meowing, you guys, it's because my cat's right here. She likes to stay close. All right, that is looking pretty good. Now onto the ebony. Now the ebony immediately is going to look a little bit darker. So don't press too hard because the pigment itself, well, I keep calling it pigment, but just the graphite just gives you a darker hue. It's not really a pigment. And as I'm doing this, I'm thinking I may have not started to get dark too quickly because I need to get to my black. So I'm actually going to extend this out a little. And then you always want to stay clean. All right, so we're gradually getting darker. Now I'm going to press even harder. And you'll notice with the ebony that the ebony is much softer. The graphite is softer, so blending becomes a lot easier. This is going to be great for your darker shades. Okay, I'm going to go in. But then also look how dark my blending stick got. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Now my final one, I'm really pressing it in here. And I'm probably not gonna even use my blending stick here. Maybe I will, just to kind of smooth out the texture. All right. You get the idea. You're pressing really, really hard. And I have a nice transition from lightest to darkest. So like I said, this one here is going to be your practice. And then the one you're going to turn in is this one. Okay, so it's the second page, so it's page 69. All right. So in your sketchbook also, that's where this guy went, we're going to work with doing some values. First on spheres, I think those are probably the easiest things to work with. So I'm gonna have a light source. So I'm gonna have my light source here. That means the light is gonna be, my highlight's gonna be here. And if you recall, we did this with a color pencil too. Because this is a contour line that's circular, your shading is gonna be circular as well. It's not going to be up and down. So not this kind of shading. That's not going to work. Okay. So I'm going to start with this guy and I'm going to press kind of not pressing too hard right off the bat. And again, I'm going kind of in a circular motion. You guys can see that. I'm gonna zoom in a little. There we go. Okay, kitty cat. All right, so notice how I'm kind of going in this circular motion. I'm gonna go in with my blending stick. So I'm kind of creating this sense of light to dark. I'm gonna go back in here, lighten it up a little bit. I'm gonna have a cast shadow. So this light is here. My cast shadow is gonna be right here. Okay, so what happens though is a little bit of light bounces back here. So this very little edge is not going to actually be the darkest. All right, so I'm still using my regular pencil. I'm going to go in and I'm going to start using my ebony because I know this part's going to be the core shadow, the darkest shadow. And by the way, all your information on what these shadows are right here. So we have our highlight, our core shadow, our reflected light, which is here in the cast shadow. And you get to see all of this sort of stuff all over this lovely book, which is a good reference. All right, so now I'm pressing a little harder. Notice it's kind of like that moon that I talked about, that crescent moon. So I'm using this. And I'm using my blending stick again. And I'm not really going to the highlight because the highlight, you want to kind of keep that very white. And I kind of messed up my shape here. So I'm going to fix that. You can use your pencil as a drawing tool as well. And there you go. We have. And then here I'm going to erase my edges, and then my cast shadow is naturally going to be really dark. So don't forget to do your cast shadow as well, you guys. And your cast shadow is always going to be on the opposite side of the light source. And that's it. Good luck.